Hi. Welcome back to another Messages from Spirit. My name's Amanda. I'm a coach and a channel. And once a week on Wednesdays, I've been coming live to channel a message from Spirit to answer all of your questions. If there's anything that you're currently moving through in your personal life and you would like some guidance and support around, this is an opportunity for you to come on live and ask your question in the chat and allow myself and Spirit to provide you with any wisdom or perspective that is for your highest and best. And ultimately, this is just a chance for us to come together, shoot the shit, chat, catch up, and have a little connection between all of us. So I see that Adam's already here. Hi, Adam. I'm doing well. How are you? I hope you're doing great on this Wednesday evening. I don't know where in the world you are, but it's Wednesday for me. I am 100% going to get to your question. I think to start off, let me just double check and see. Typically, Spirit really likes to set the stage for an intention that they want to set for the live and something that they want you to reflect on whilst you wait. They're saying whilst you wait, because they're saying a deeper esoteric meaning inside of the question that you're asking. Oh, and they want to provide you with a level of understanding that can't be gleaned inside of one answer alone, and a longer form explanation is going to serve you really well at this time. That's what they're saying. So I hope that's okay. I hope you can be patient with me while I see what that is that they want to share. And then I would be happy to take up as much time as you need to delve more deeply inside of whatever it is that you're currently moving through. Um, Let me just see if there's anything they want to add to that. No, they're just saying they're just saying you're a very patient person, and so you'll understand, and this might be something that you want to come back to and reflect on, because there's going to be deeper layers of understanding every time you come back to it. Okay, so they're just wanting to take a moment to set the stage here. So this is an opportunity for anyone that's tuning in live to step forward. If you're feeling called to join this experience today, there's probably a reason for that. I set the intention that this is going to find you if it's meant to, and if there's something in your life that you have been contemplating or unsure about, or trying to call in, trying feeling confused around, looking for answers or opportunity and not really sure which way to go or which opportunity to take, they're saying step forward and use this experience as a vehicle for what it is that you're searching for. And if you're too shy to do that on this live, they're saying, then you can private message me and I would be happy to, on a future live, answer your question anonymously. And that is an opportunity that I would love to extend to you as well. So there's no pressure, of course, but if you're calling in answers, if you're looking to the universe for support, it's here in the form of me. And to take as much time as you need getting comfortable with stepping forward and receiving what it is that you're asking for. Okay. So, the way this works is I like to close my eyes, take a deep breath, tune in with spirit, and share something with you. And the way this usually works for me, if you're new here, is they tend to share an image first. And this image acts as a metaphor or an example of what it is that they're trying to express. And that is just a really easy way for me to anchor into an understanding of where they're going with this and provide a level of understanding that is helpful. They're saying to kind of paint the picture of the deeper, the they're saying more advanced understanding through an example that you are familiar with. I see you, Adam. I see all of your messages here. I promise I'm going to get to you. Okay, I'm just letting you know I'm seeing you. Okay, so where do you want to go from here, guys? What do you want this to be today? They're saying the message today is going to be relatively short and sweet, but it's going to be something that you're going to want to really reflect on and come back to, because you're going to find different nuances inside of what it is that they're explaining. And as you're reflecting on it and as time goes by, you're going to find that there's new levels of awareness that wash over you and provide you with insight or clarity or like an aha moment that's going to be really important. And it's part of what you've been looking for. And it's going to come to you when it's ready to. And so, this is another way of receiving. You don't necessarily have to ask a question in the chat, but you're here. And if you're here, there's something here for you. And so just being open to receiving it and allowing it to wash over you in waves. And they're saying that these waves of understanding bring new levels of clarity. And sometimes it's necessary to move through those different levels of understanding because the mind requires time to process, and giving it time to process allows you to come to a place of acceptance. And once you can reach that new level of acceptance, a new level of awareness can be welcomed through. And that is something that we often struggle with inside of our unwillingness to allow for things to be the way that they are, is we tend to block out the clarity that it is that we're asking for, because the clarity cannot come through unless you're willing to be open, having an open mind to looking at things a different way that might feel odd, uncomfortable, or unfamiliar. And time is needed for your level of allowance of that new perspective to settle and then take on like a normalcy before you're ready to allow for another wave of new perspective. And so it's kind of showing me this image of like an expanding container where you're right here and your perspective is quite fixed. And when a new level of awareness is trying to come through, sometimes without realizing it, we deflect or block it because we're so focused on this direction being the truth, our truth, what's needed, where we need to be looking, what we need to be focusing on, that something coming from over here just doesn't feel important, or it doesn't feel, it's too difficult to understand with your current fixed perspective. And they're saying that they're very slowly moving the needle over rather than trying to take your head and force it to look in the other way. They're very slowly nudging you. And with each new kind of turn of the head inside of this analogy, they are showing you a greater and greater view of the landscape in front of you. It's like looking through a very small lens of a camera and only being able to see like a very small point in the middle. And then very slowly that lens opens, the aperture opens, and you can see the full picture of the landscape in front of the lens once it's fully open. And that's what they're doing, is they're opening your mind to new awareness, but it needs to be done slowly, because slowly is ultimately what you're ready for, what you're comfortable with. Okay, what else would you like to say about this? The idea that moving slowly is more comfortable is something that they really want to hone in on today. Is we tend to not feel that that's true. We tend to believe that things need to be rushed, that we're in a rush, like let's go, let's get to the next thing, like next level expansion, next level awareness, next choice, next action step, next thing on the to-do list, like trying to get through things really, really quickly because we're in a rush to reach a destination that we feel is needed in order to up level, in order to access a version of ourselves or a reality where we can exhale and relax and not feel the urgency anymore. The problem is that we never know how to let go of that urgency. That urgency is kind of driving that momentum from one goalpost to the next, from one action step to the next, and we don't realize that it's never going to subside completely because it's the urgency that's propelling the entire uh, journey, the entire prospect of what it is that you're seeking. And what it is that you're seeking is permission to allow your sense of self, your sense of identity to just be okay. And the willingness to slow down, the willingness to take this in waves is really important to understand that it's actually easier to process, it's easier for your nervous system, and it's also necessary for the level of expansion that you're looking for. Can you explain why that is? Expansion is not something that is done with urgency. Expansion is something that is accessed inside of the willingness to be inside of the present moment. Why is that? The present moment provides the perspective that's needed. Oh, can you expand on that? What you're looking for is the ability to take in the present moment, to be able to look through the camera lens and see the big picture. The big picture can't fully be realized if you're moving the camera all over the place. You have to allow the camera to sit and focus in one spot in order to take in the full picture. And when you're looking for guidance and you're looking for perspective and you're looking for answers, what you're actually looking for is the big picture, to be able to zoom out and look at the whole thing and say, I got it. I get it now. This is where I'm supposed to go, and this is what I'm supposed to need, and this is how to get there. So, what you're looking for is that higher level of perspective, but it can't come to you through urgency, rush, or never giving yourself to slow down and look at the camera. Look at what's here. Give it time to settle. Give yourself a moment to take it all in, to let it fully register. And so they're inviting you into a moment of presence, asking your question in the chat, sitting with it, sitting with what it is that you're looking for, like the question that you have, and the feedback that you're given, and letting that feedback sit and simmer and integrate, fully register. What is it that I'm being shown here? And then letting that kind of trickle through. And then once you feel like you have a little bit more understanding, with that is going to come a new perspective. And with that new perspective might come new desire for understanding. And that is going to come through new questions. And then you ask more questions. And this curiosity, this slow, gradual trickling of questions is going to guide you on how to see the bigger picture that is only accessed inside of really sitting with it. Really sitting with it, letting it integrate and being fully present inside of what that clarity is offering you. And the ability to do that, to slow down, to sit with it, to let it integrate, to get curious with it, and like pick out all of the little nuances, reflect on it. What am I not seeing? What is it that I'm really looking for? What am I really asking for? What is this answer really showing me? And letting those questions percolate, and then letting new awareness rise, seeing a little bit of a fresh perspective of the image in front of you, and then coming back to it and asking again, why, how, what? And they're saying, my friends, that is the key to the level of certainty that you're looking for. It is not guarantee that is being offered to you. It is awareness of what's here. Because when you have, what are you saying? When you what? What's here is the clarity that you're looking for. Can you expand on that? The clarity that you're looking for is not necessarily going to come through one specific answer to your question, one avenue, one choice. It's going to come from the perspective that that feels resonant to you, that when you hear it, you're like, yes, that's true. And then sitting with that and asking, okay, what do I want to do with that? Where do I want to go with that? How do I want to be inside of that new level of awareness? And what? That is going to give you certainty. The certainty of how you feel inside of the truth that you're feeling. I feel that this truth is right for me. It resonates for me. It feels good. I feel comfortable or confident with it, or if just something about it feels deep inside of me, right? They're saying that's certainty. But that's a gift that you give to you inside of the present moment, inside of allowing a new level of awareness or perspective to like anchor into you, taking time to really like mull it over, turn it around, look at all of the angles, and then ask yourself, what feels right for me? That's certainty. And this requires getting really, really comfortable inside of self reflection. Self reflection is the key to the certainty you're looking for. And if you find, you might be getting called out a little bit here, Adam. This is really important, okay? If you find that you're asking a lot of the same questions and that the questions that you're asking carry a nuance of the same tone or like desire for certainty, they're saying, then that is an indication that more time and reflection is needed. And that's a skill that you develop with time, with practice, but it's something that they're trying to call you into, all of us into, because that is going to provide you the personal power that the willingness to do that is offering you, and ultimately the certainty that is going to be granted to you that me sitting here just answering your questions can't. It just can't, because all I'm offering to you is awareness, is a different perspective, and it's up to you to take that and ask yourself what is available inside of that for me. How do I navigate this new level of awareness, and where can I pull the thread of truth that resonates for me, that's going to give me the clarity and satisfaction I'm looking for. Really beautiful. Is there anything else you like to add to that? No, they're just saying welcome, like welcoming you forward into this experience with them and with me and with all of us, and taking the time to ask for whatever certainty or clarity it is that you feel is needed, and allowing this message to percolate at the same time, and allowing that process to unfold for you in whatever way it's meant to, and allow the gradual level of understanding to grow until you no longer need more certainty or clarity with that specific question, and then moving on to the next. And then in time, you'll see that your process changes because the types of questions that you ask change, or the types of clarity and understanding that you're looking for change too. Beautiful. I love that. Okay. Are you ready to answer some questions? Yeah, they're saying yes, but we're going to be taking it slow today. And they're really encouraging you to receive an answer, sit with it, and being willing to get comfortable, even if you don't fully understand the answer that you're getting. Understanding that comfort will come in time once there has been time allowed for that integration to take place. And that the just be like, notice that receiving an answer doesn't always satisfy the question. It's not going to be an immediate, like instant gratification. There's going to be time that's needed for you to like delve inside of it, and like reflect on it, and then come to your own conclusions. And that is going to be more satisfying in the end. Okay. All right, Adam. I'm ready for you. Okay. I was wondering if you would be so kind to answer a question for me during this live Q&A. There's a guy at the gym who works at the counter. I was just wondering because I do not know if this is my imagination or not, but sometimes he seems as though he does not like me or behaves rudely. I was just wondering why he behaves like that with me because I have never done him anything wrong. It could simply be my imagination, but I have a feeling that he dislikes me or something along those lines. Would you mind describing what his energies are toward me from him? And if you can pick up and really form intuitively interpreting his energies, if he really dislikes me or anything like that. Hi, Arnie. Happy Wednesday. It's so nice to see you here. Or if he picks up on any gossip from me or heard anything bad, like a nasty rumor from others about me from an energetic standpoint. Again, I could be totally imagining this, but he seems to behave rudely or as though he doesn't want to talk to me, be around me. Okay. 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 First of all, thank you, Adam, for always showing up and just being open to asking and being vulnerable and so open minded and open hearted with the opportunity to ask and to receive. I'm so blown away by your willingness to put yourself out there. It's a really beautiful trait that you possess. I don't even know if you're aware of that, but it can be very intimidating for most people to come on a YouTube live and to just put themselves out there and ask their question. And so that's not lost on me. And I hope that you can receive that I see you. I see you. It's beautiful. Okay. What would you like him to know about this? Okay. So Arnie, there's some they're saying loving and compassionate reflections that they really want to share with you today. And they're asking for you to take this in and really sit with it, let it integrate. And then when you're ready in the future, at any point in time, come back with some following up questions about specifically what they're telling you today. Okay. They're saying you have this incredible, beautiful, loving desire to express who you are and be seen fully inside of that interpretation, meaning you have a very beautiful, open heart. And sometimes it feels like not everybody reciprocates that. And that, I think, to you is very confusing and frustrating and lonely and challenging. And I think that you've experienced many situations where you have felt that way, where you're like, why aren't they communicating with me in the way that I would love for them to, or in the way that I'm hoping that they do? And they really want you to begin to get comfortable inside of those interactions because you're being asked to. So it's not that these people don't like you or don't love you or can't see you for who you are. It's that you are needing them to. A part of you is needing them to. And it's simply a reflection of where that need is coming from. And it's coming from a part of you that doesn't feel fully safe to not need it in return. I just want you to clarify what you're saying here. The desire to love and be loved is a beautiful thing. But the desire to love and not need the reciprocation of that from everybody is just as beautiful because it means that you are so firmly grounded inside of who you are that the reactions of those around you don't impact that love, that don't impact that confidence, that certainty, that self awareness, that grounded sense of being. And that's what you're being called into. You're being called to observe these interactions from a much more elevated place. So rather than just being inside of them and receiving their energy and being like, what is that? Like, why aren't they, what's wrong here? They want you to take a step back, look at it from a higher vantage point, and notice the pattern. Oh, there's so many of these interactions that I'm having that are so similar. What is this trying to teach me? What am I observing about myself that I'm noticing that this pattern exists? Oh, the way that they respond to me doesn't feel good. Rather than asking, why aren't they responding the way I'd like them to? They're asking you to ask a different question, which is what? What is required of me to allow their response of me to be okay, and for me to be okay inside of it? And I want to be very clear, this does not mean being a doormat. This does not mean lying down and taking somebody's verbal abuse or bullying in any way. This is two very different things. This is simply an interaction that doesn't necessarily go the way you would have wanted it to or thought it would. And just letting it roll off your shoulders because it doesn't affect you. You're firm, you're solid. And the potential inside of becoming that level of unbothered is what you're asking for. So they're like, we don't want to disappoint you by not coming out and directly answering your question. They want to pull you into a higher level of perspective and awareness that is going to offer you the certainty that you're looking for, which is that you can't always know what someone else is thinking or feeling, but you can control how you think and feel in response. That's where your power lies. That's where your opportunity lies. And that is where your expansion is going to be found. Let me know how that sits. I know that that was a long answer and that sometimes you need time to come back to it rather than being able to take it all in. And that's exactly what they're asking you to do is like come back, rewatch it, let it integrate, take time with it, let it sit, let it percolate, and like let the waves of understanding wash over you slowly in time. They are not at my vibrational level yet. I trust in me. And yes, this is something I have been learning and actually doing spot on. Yeah. Yeah. Arnie, they're not at my vibrational level. I think that that is such a beautiful way of articulating it. We are all working through our own stuff. And sometimes we are just so like in our shit that we don't even see the people around us. We just don't have the capacity to because we're so distracted. We're so like living in it. And especially sometimes at work, that's the case because we don't always want to be there. Or like we dealt with something in our personal lives and then we have to show up to work and put on a happy face. And sometimes we're just not able to. And I think it's possible that you were, Adam, that you were witnessing that day. But ultimately, they're just saying it doesn't matter what you were witnessing. What matters is what you're feeling, how it's affecting you, and what what choices are available for you inside of a future potential where your response to those interactions can look and feel different. I used to be someone that was highly impacted. I used to be someone that was highly let me rephrase that. I don't wanna come off as holier than thou here. I I used to be much more volatile in terms of letting my personal life, in my inner turmoil, dictate my interactions with people. Some people are very good at compartmentalizing that, which isn't necessarily better. It's just a different coping mechanism. I don't have that ability. I'm an Aries moon. I'm I s- giant swings. I can't contain it, and it's just written all over my face and my body language. And I really disliked that about myself. I disliked the fact that I couldn't compartmentalize, and if something was bothering me, it was like infused inside of all of my interactions, even if it was highly unprofessional. It was difficult for me. And that was something I had to really work on, was not allowing not allowing my thoughts and feelings to be as detrimental to my emotional state. And that ultimately, I think, shifted my vibration, coming back to what you're saying, Arnie, because the swings that I have look different now. Before, I would have these giant emotional swings, and I would sort of like, I'll put it this way, there's the swing to the darker side, and then there's a swing to the lighter side. I would swing heavily to the dark side and like linger there and get stuck there. And I didn't know how to swing back as fast or as far. And over time, with that practice, my swings started to be very big. And now they have started to swing sort of the opposite direction, where most of the time I'm living here in the lighter side. And anytime I swing back, I don't swing nearly as far and I don't get stuck there. I swing back quite quickly. And I think that that's a good analogy for this vibrational difference, is that we're all swinging at different tempos and at different times and at different um, levels of the spectrum. And when someone is interacting with you in a specific manner, it's just an indication of how they're swinging and the work that they have either done or not done that impacts that swing. Wait, Amanda, did you answer my question? I did. It was a very long, beautiful answer, and you're welcome to rewind or come back to it when you feel ready to, when you feel ready to fully take it in. Arnie, yep, you have learned balance. You're so articulate. It takes me like 5 minutes to explain something that you just say in 3 words. Yes, yes, I have. Same here. Things do not linger with me anymore. I also balance out quickly. Yeah, no, that's fine, Adam. Just come back to it. I think you'll get a lot out of it. I think it was a really beautiful answer to your question. But it's funny that you weren't there for it. Um, yeah, that's amazing, Arnie. I love that for you. It's very freeing. It's very freeing to not get stuck in that negative headspace, which is a really challenging place to be, especially if it's your normal, like if it's your everyday. And for a very long time, that was the case for me. I just lived there. I lived in the heaviness and the darkness, and it was not an enjoyable existence at all. And I think, is there something you want to say about that? They're saying that swing is part of life, and that the goal is not necessarily to swing towards the quote unquote light and live there. The goal is to experience the spectrum in whatever way you desire to or need to, with the understanding that you get to choose. So, the higher level of perspective that they want to share with you today with regards to this analogy, thank you so much, Adam, Arnie, for bringing this up, is that the pendulum, the swing, the spectrum exists. And to be able to see that it exists is another level of awareness. And then to understand how to control and manipulate your swing determines how powerful you feel as you're experiencing the spectrum. So the next time you swing into the darkness, You have that level of awareness at the back of your mind that the light exists. You've been there before, you'll find it again, and you also know what's needed. So it doesn't feel as detrimental because you can sort of see the lights or see the doorway through. Whereas someone that's never experienced the light end of the spectrum doesn't feel as much hope in getting there. They don't know how. They don't know how to find their way out of it. And it feels it feels hopeless, they're saying. Um they're saying the higher level of, oh, this is really interesting. They're saying the higher level of vibration that we're speaking about doesn't necessarily come from living in the light. It comes from having the full spectrum of experiences and loving and expecting and accepting the experience of all of it. It is the acceptance of the whole spectrum that is the higher level of vibration that we are quote unquote looking for. It is not swinging to the light and living there and never feeling the darkness, because if you never feel the darkness, then you never understand the darkness. It is the level of understanding of the spectrum, having experienced it and being accepting of it, of all of it, that provides the level of awareness that we're looking for inside of the higher vibration that we're speaking about or desire to experience. So again, it's being able to zoom out, to open up your aperture, to be able to see the full spectrum and experience the whole spectrum. And that provides perspective, awareness, clarity, and also they're saying imagination, because you can visualize possibility and potential when you can see the bigger picture. You see what's available for you, and you trust your ability to swing towards it, to have the experience of it. When you can only see a very small part of the spectrum, you don't have the awareness that anything else exists. And so you feel stuck and trapped inside of what you're currently experiencing. That is such an interesting way of putting it. Is there anything else you want to add to that? No, Arnie, they're just saying thank you for bringing that into the conversation, because I'm like really blown away by that analogy. I love it. 3D matrix of yin yang, light and dark, learning to command your reactions. Yeah. Yeah, they're saying light and dark is a perspective too, because what I believe to be the light and dark might be different from what you do. So we all hold um, our own unique, oh my God, what's the word? Uh, oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? Our own unique channel of those yin and yangs. And how we navigate it, the choices that we make inside of it are ours and ours alone. And so our experience of it, our understanding of it is all going to be unique to us in our experiences and understanding and willingness to have them, they're saying. And the fact that we are all showing up and asking questions and having conversations about it is offering us a bigger and deeper understanding and the availability of more awareness and perspective, and ultimately a higher level of expansion and vibration as a byproduct. How we see our reality. Yeah. Oh my God. These conversations light me up. I love them. I guess it's sort of like philosophy in a way. But I could talk about this stuff for hours. They're saying like it's ultimately human nature. It's the discussion of who we are, how we see ourselves and our reality, and it's all up to us to determine. And the willingness to ask questions allows for the exploration of who we are, and that is ultimately what gives life purpose and meaning. I do talk on this for hours. Love it. I do too. I feel like not everybody likes to, because it's kind of like in a way, it's kind of a heavy conversation. Like it's a little bit deeper than like, oh, what'd you do today? Like, how was work? It's like, but when we can talk about like, what's the meaning of life? Like, okay, now I'm invested. Now you've got my attention. Like, what do you think it is? And then going from there. And yeah, they're just saying that's what makes life fascinating and beautiful and interesting to explore. But the way to fully understand it is to understand ourselves because the experience of ourselves gives us perspective and awareness and meaning. And then we can apply it to life itself and then experience it in a different way. Before we got on this live today, sometimes I set an intention for sort of like an idea of what I want to talk about, and sometimes I leave it completely open. And today, before getting on this live, I said, I really want to talk about like the parts of who we are and why parts work is important, why it's important to have awareness and understanding of the different parts of you and accept them and welcome them in and what that does for us. And I feel like this is what we're talking about. We're just doing it in a way I didn't expect. But Arnie, I feel like you sort of like through this conversation, like helped to like really bring that intention into focus. And I love that. They're just reminding us that this is like a dual effort here. This is not me channeling spirit. This is us coming together with a combined intention for understanding and compassion and awareness and connection. And so the two of us right now are sort of having this joint channeled experience through one another and elevating ourselves and anyone that decides to partake in this through watching it and having their own exploration and understanding and integration of it. And they're just saying that that's awesome. And I am so grateful for you that you are adding to this and like helping elevate myself in the process. Arnie, how have you been, by the way? I feel like I haven't seen you in a week or two. I hope you're well. I hope everything's well with you. I know that you're super into tarot, if I can remember. I hope that's going well. And I know that you have your own tarot decks that you create. I would love to know how you got into that, how you got into tarot, why you love tarot, if that's true for you. If I'm misremembering, please correct me. And and how you go about designing your tarot decks, because that is some super beautiful and fascinating stuff. I have been busy and was doing a meditation class, so was not able to be on lives. What kind of a meditation class? Tell me more. What was your intention to take this class, and are you getting out of it what you were hoping to? I hope so. I hope it's been serving you, and I know it has. For me, meditation, I'm starting to realize that it truly is the source point of everything that we look outside of ourselves for. And we just have to create and allow for the space, the time, and the consistency to access it from within. And meditation is truly like the perfect vehicle for that, they're saying. In meditation, I had gotten light codes and info for the different decks. What? Wow. So it was birthed through you. It was manifested through you. I love that. You sort of channeled the creation of it and infused your own light into it. Wow, that's so beautiful. Yeah, meditation opens up the channel for sure. Adam, hey, that was an amazing reply. Thanks a lot, Amanda. I just now rewinded. I have another question. Sure, Adam, ask away. Ask away. The floor is yours. Why are I'm just asking spirit, why are people so resistant to meditation? Like, what about the practice of meditation feels uncomfortable or unattainable for so many people? They're saying the level of compassion required. Interesting. What do you mean by that? To feel comfortable and confident sitting still with your own thoughts and feelings requires a level of compassion that not everybody is ready to allow for themselves or offer themselves. And it requires time and patience to build that, to allow for that, and then to experience that in the meditation itself. Wow. Adam. Again, this could be my imagination, but a few weeks ago at the gym, I think I saw a blonde girl and another girl look at me while I was on my elliptical. Why exactly did they look at me? What energy are you picking up from them? Were they checking me out? Again, this could be my imagination, but for the split second, I felt both their eyes on me. Okay. Adam, I don't know how much of the original message for today's live, one was on a treadmill and one was near the person on the treadmill, if it helps with reading. I don't know how much of the first message, like the channeled message for the group that you saw for this video today. But it's really important that you go back and rewatch the whole thing and to wait before asking any follow-up questions, because there's levels of awareness that are going to come to you inside of the time that you take to let it integrate and reflect on it. And they're really encouraging you to be patient, and that some of these questions are not going to feel as important or as needed if you take the time for that. They're inviting you into a practice of what's that word? Like giving to yourself the thing that you're asking for. And they want to offer you something that cannot be accessed unless you take the time to really let it sink in. Um, and so they're going to hold firm to that today, and they're going to challenge you today, and they welcome any and all resentment. They're saying that they understand that this is not what you're asking for, and they understand that this is going to be really frustrating and a little triggering. And they're saying, good, he's ready for it. He's ready for the challenge. He's asking for this opportunity of growth, and we're going to give it to him. We're going to offer it to him, and it's up to him to choose it. Let me know your thoughts, Adam, okay? Arnie, I converted all my music to 432 hertz. And when I work on the PC, I listen, and it is another form of meditation as I lose myself in the nature balance frequency. I love that. I I can't listen. I'm very much I can't multitask. So if I'm focused on something, I can't actually that's not true. I'm sorry, Arnie. I've been doing the same thing. I just realized I've been doing the same thing. When I first started meditating, it was just silence and it was awful. And then I discovered binaural beats, which I think is sort of what you're referring to here, which is music that's on a different frequency with no words. It's just like music or sounds. And listening to that in the background as I meditate really helped me sink into a more relaxed state of consciousness. And now, anytime I'm doing any form of like channeling, like writing, any kind of content that I'm writing, when I was channeling my book, I listen to that and I get into a meditative state. So I'm doing the same thing that you're doing. And I love that you found that too. I never thought to convert it though. That's on a whole other level. I just find YouTube channel that I like that has that kind of music and I play it in the background. Adam, I already typed the question above. Yes, Adam, I'm answering that question right now. Okay? They're not going to answer that question directly. The answer to that question that you just typed above about the treadmill, the girls on the treadmill, they want you to hold that question. And instead of answering it, they're telling you to go back, rewatch the very initial message from this live all the way up to this moment in time and follow the instructions. And then they're saying next week we can come back and explore that. Rather than this specific question that you're asking, they want to explore the pattern that you're observing inside of you that these questions are reflecting to you. They're trying to open the aperture for you so that you can see the bigger picture of the question that you're asking and what it is that you're hoping to get in response, the certainty that you're looking for that you're not going to get inside of me just answering the question that you're asking. They want you to, they're offering you a deeper level of awareness that's going to bring a new level of certainty. And that's going to require time, integration, going back, rewatching it, and allowing the waves of understanding to wash over you. Okay. Arnie, what are you describing? What you are describing is what I do in doing cards and art. Isn't it interesting how listening to that sort of music allows for the creativity to flow and allows for the channel to open and for like a more, what is that exactly? It's this, they're saying it's a slowing down of the nervous system, it's a slowing down of the brainwave activity and allowing for a flow state to take place. What is a flow state? It's a level of calm that invites in new awareness and new perspective that can't be accessed inside of a mind that's constantly searching for it. It's really interesting. It's tying right back into the message at the start. I love it. I love it. and and Arnie, when you are coming up with whatever it is that you're creating, does it come to you and then you go and create it? Does it come to you in the moment? Like, do you sit down and say to yourself, I'm feeling a creative energy. I'm just going to sit down and start creating and it's going to flow? Or do you have an idea that comes to you and then you go and you create it? Like, what is your process? Because for me, it's very much the idea comes to me first and then I go and I create it. I've never been somebody that just sits down and is like, I will create now. And then like a masterpiece is formulated in the process. Like that is just not my process. If I go about it that way, it's a disaster. Like I start doing something and I'm like, I don't know what this is. And I get frustrated and I stop. I'm like, I don't resonate with what it is that I'm working on right now. It doesn't feel like I have intention or direction of any kind. For me, it comes to me and I go and I create it. So I'm curious what your process is. And I love how creative you are. Okay, so I'm going to start closing this down with any Arnie. It happens all different ways, no process. I have learned to just trust what comes and do it. Often it does not make sense in the moment, but in the end, there's always creation. I love that. Oh my God, you're so poetic. And isn't that the whole point? Isn't that the whole point? Not the product, but the act of creation itself and the process and the experience of the creation. Because that is like it is the experience of creating that is where we find our flow state. And the result of that creation is simply what we choose to make of it, they're saying. And sometimes what we make of it is, oh, they're calling me out. Sometimes what we make of it is a reflection of the judgment that we feel internally, that we project on the creation, that we don't feel is living up to our own belief systems of what's possible, that we don't feel has been achieved or attained. Yeah, that's true for me. That is so true for me. I judge my creations quite harshly, and I'm learning to redirect my focus on the process rather than the outcome. But it's hard to rewire that after a lifetime of judging the outcome. But this, like experiences like this, have been so helpful for me. And that is quite honestly the gift of channeling. Like what channeling has given me is that I sit down and I get into a flow state and I just let it come through. And I don't know what the end result is going to be until it's done. And so I don't have an opportunity to sit there and second guess myself. And I have to trust and I have to just be in the present moment, in the process of creation. And that is truly like what channeling has offered me and taught me. And it was really challenging at first because I was one of those people that had to plan everything in advance. If I was ever giving a speech about something, I would write it all out and then memorize the whole thing and show up with like a plan. So I knew exactly what I was going to say. I knew exactly what I was going to do. And I planned out every part of the experience. So nothing was done in the moment. And to flip that on its head, where I show up now and I don't plan anything, was a huge learning curve. And one of the most foundational growth and evolution processes that I have been through. And to me, that has been the gift of channeling. It's not what I'm channeling, it's my ability to surrender to the present moment and trust in myself inside of it. So it seems like you have that ability too, and you're just doing it in your own unique way. And I love that for you. Yes, very difficult. Same here. I never know. Just have faith and trust. Just have faith and trust. I love that. Okay. Arnie, is there anything else that's on your heart today that you would like to talk about, that you want to navigate with me, that you want to add to this conversation? Anything that you would like to channel through you for myself and for anyone that's going to be watching this? Or would you like to, or do you feel complete with it and you would like me to wrap this up in whatever way spirit feels called to? Let me know, but I want to offer you an opportunity to add to this because you've really made your mark on this episode, for me at least. And I just want you to give you an opportunity to add anything that you're feeling called to add. I hope Adam's okay. If you're here, Adam, I hope you're doing okay. Arnie, I mentioned in chat, look back in it. I think you would be a great guest on his show. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have missed that. Oh, on whose show? I must have missed that completely. I don't see it here. I'm sorry. I don't know if it typed. Maybe type it back in or comment under this because I don't see that anywhere. I'm sorry, Arnie. I don't see that anywhere. Just copied and pasted. I don't think it's showing up, whatever you're copying and pasting. That's so strange. Yeah, I don't see it. That is very strange. That is really interesting. Is this a podcast? Hmm. There must be a reason why I'm not being allowed to see that. They're just saying I'm not ready to. Well, Arnie, feel free to type it in again or comment under the video if you feel like if you trust in what you're feeling guided to share with me and you feel that it's important for me to see it because I'm curious. And I'm going to start wrapping this up and tying this all together with any final words from Spirit. And Arnie, if there's anything, when video's over, I'll post in comments. Okay, cool. Arnie, if there's anything that you want to add in terms of what you would like to share with myself and anyone that watches this to tie this all together, if there's anything that you want to channel or you want to reflect on, feel free to share that. And I'll just see if there's anything else that Spirit would like to say about this. They're just saying they're really enjoying this collaboration between the two of us. They're really enjoying like fostering this desire to experience our gifts and to share them and to witness them in one another. And ultimately, when we do that, we are perceiving the availability of possibility. Possibility that we don't always recognize is within us, that when we see in another person, we are witnessing the bigger aperture of the big picture that's available, the availability of all of the room to swing that we didn't perceive to be available or exist, and we are being reflected through that other person, the possibility of it, the potential of it, and the availability of it within ourselves. And to allow other people to do that for us, to be our mirrors and to reflect that to us, and allow them to both inspire us and also move us. And that is how we learn and grow and build on one another and provide each other with the spectrum of experiences that we came here to observe and embody. I love that. I would keep shining your light. And Arnie, you keep shining yours as well. I love feeling you shining your light, and I love witnessing you reflecting back to me the light that's available within myself to continue shining through as well. So this was a really beautiful live today. I really truly enjoyed this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to Adam and to Arnie so much for showing up today and for communicating with me and sharing this experience with me and adding to it and providing your own unique perspectives and awareness for myself and anyone else that comes across this video. I'm sending you all so much love. Have a great rest of your day and your week, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, Arnie.